A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 100.
We understand that working for the man or corporate America is not fulfilling for us. And what we want is we want to fulfill our lives. We want to be passionate about what we do. And we are very passionate about living on our own terms. We look to share that with our followers.
Yeah, we go through our ups and downs, and I hadn't mentioned this yet to John, but I try to be athletic. I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I haven't been in the gym for the last couple of weeks just because of things going on, and my wife was out of town, and I felt really bad today. I just felt like, I was starting to get depressed, and I was like, man, I haven't worked out, and it's been a lot of birthdays in my family, so it's every other night I'm eating out. And when my wife was out of town, I'm not the best cook, so I was eating out. So I felt very, a little overweight today. And I was starting to get depressed, and I started lifting the weight for a little while. And I even came in for a minute late on the bed, and I was like, I don't know if I can finish my workout. But then I went out and I started playing with my balls. So I have these big black balls. One's a little bigger than the other. And so I was throwing them around in the backyard. One's a 20-pound ball and one's a 30-pound ball. And they're like
you should get those looked at.
They're slam balls, like you use in CrossFit. I don't know what you were thinking, John, but after I did that, I felt tremendous. I felt great. I mean, I think everyone should play with their balls. It was, it got rid of my frustration. I came back in. I was like, you know what? I feel like I accomplished something.
So what you're saying is that you were very relieved after you were playing with your balls and all the pressure was released.
I guess so.
All big changes start with a swift kick in the ass. Join the journey of lifelong friends, John Curran and Tom Stewart, as they make conventional thought bend over and take a boot to the keister. Warning, listeners may notice a force equal to or greater than needed to get your ass moving. A swift kick in the ass, living life on your terms.
So, John's episode 100. We should celebrate. Sean's gonna do a little mix of the recording I'm sending him. Usually he'll always do this live, but I just figured it'd be easier than trying to coordinate schedules, so forth. I wish I could have had my wife Jen on. Would have made it a little bit more conversational.
Welcome to a Swift Kick in the Ass podcast. I'm Tom Stewart, and I'm joined with my lifelong friend, John Curran. And just to let you guys know, we've known each other since we were 4 and 5 years old. And it's been a ride. Basic premise of the show, other than living life on your own terms, is doing the personal change that gets you to be able to live your life on your own terms. And me and John are both on that journey, and we want to take you along with that journey. Our trial and errors, things that work for us, things that don't work for us. Hell, it might help you along, and we might learn some things from our listeners as well. Sound cool?
It sounds very cool to me, Tom. And the fact that what you just said actually came from episode 0, which we originally published back in October of 2014, it's very cool. In that episode, we stated what we intended to do, how we do it, and who we were. And we asked the audience to join us on this journey that we call living on our terms. Some additional coolness is during that episode, you offered a quote which really formed the basis of all of our episodes. So I'd like to share that with the audience now.
One of the things I really try to live by is by Viktor E. Frankl. And it's a short little quote, but it says, "Between the stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom and our power to choose our response. In those choices lie our growth and our happiness." And it's true. It's how you respond. And it's our choice. And the bottom line, it's our choice to be depressed. It's our choice to be happy. It's our choice to go to work. It's our choice to give up and die.
My name is Tom Stewart. I'm joined by my lifelong friend, John Curran. Welcome to the show. If you have not been following the recent episodes, I have been taking a little break from the podcast because I have brain cancer. I've been doing pretty good. Most of my dog's squeaking in the background. You hear he has a new toy. Anyways, I've been doing very good with the cancer treatments. I'm done with all my radiation. I'm done with all my chemo. I'm kind of like in standby mode. My tumor is, tumors, I have 5 of them in my brain. Inoperable. Grade 3, which is almost, grade 4 is the highest. It'll kill you in a couple months. Unfortunately, I think I have more time than that. Plus, I feel really good because I've been eating a keto diet. And I think maybe that helped keep it stable because it blocks the pathways that we usually look for defeating cancer. There's 2 pathways. There's one that's fed by sugar, and that's where keto comes in. Keto, you eliminate sugar. And one's glutamine, which turns to glutamate inside the body, but it's amino acid. So I got that kind of under control. I'm doing some other therapies. I got the Optune, which is a brain cap, kind of like a brainiac. What that does is every time a tumor tries to grow, it will try to zap it with electricity. So I look like brainiac walking around. I also do the infrared sauna, try to detox, and I do marijuana. I found a new marijuana doctor. He's very good. I'm laughing because my kids are downstairs and they're making Alexa turn meow, so my dogs are freaking out.
Sure, Tom. I'm glad to see that prescription's helping you out. Little did we know way back when what the future would hold. I guess we still don't know what the future holds, but no one would have ever imagined that we'd be talking about brain cancer and you living like a samurai on our episodes. But here we are, celebrating our 100th episode. It's pretty amazing, man, and it's been quite a journey. And I know we're going to have more episodes, and the journey's going to continue. I'm going to share some of the clips through the years with our audience, some of the highlights. So, Tom, before we get too much further, I just have to ask you, what are some of your favorite episodes?
Well, John, some of my favorite episodes had to start with the 48 Laws of Power. We had Don't Outshine the Master. I think that's law number 1. That's a very informative podcast. My favorite one that was not really a law of the 48 Laws of Power, but the one that we had, the 48 Laws of Power applied to The Walking Dead. That was a fun episode. And my very favorite and most applicable right now is the Never Fear the Reaper. Don't fear the Reaper. And that's probably more applicable to me right now, facing my brain cancer.
Welcome, I'm Tom Stewart, and I'm joined with my lifelong childhood friend, John Curran. And today's episode is about Don't Fear the Reaper, which, of course, John, is death. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks. I mean, how do you take how do you follow up with a statement like, we're going to talk about death? It's hard to follow up on that one.
It's either that or we're really going to talk about Blue Oyster Cult's song, Don't Fear the Reaper, the whole episode, but that would really suck.
Yeah, I just don't know how much, we could get out of that one. Death is a touchy subject. I mean, it's emotional, it's painful, but it's something that we all must face, each and every one of us. Want you to, no matter where you are, hopefully you're in a quiet place, but I'd like you to just imagine something for a minute. Hopefully you're in a quiet place and you can really think about this. Think about, imagine yourself in a church at a funeral, and you're in the line and you're in the procession that's walking up to the casket to say, your last, your parting words or whatever you do whenever you see a corpse. I kind of freak out when I do. It's kind of unsettling. But so you're in the line, you're approaching the casket, and you walk up to the casket and you look down, and it's you. What do you think? And as soon as you see that it's you, someone comes up and says to you, would you please say the eulogy? What would you want said about yourself? Is it going to be that you drive an expensive sports car, you live in a big house, you're a sharp dresser, you have the Rolex watch? Probably not, man. You're probably going to talk about how you were a good friend, how you were loving, how you loved your kids, and you were a good person. You're going to talk about these things that are most important to you. And that is really the key, I think, to not fearing death. It was.
Well, John, you know what I'm going to do at my funeral? I'm going to have a closed casket, and halfway through the sermon, I'm going to have them stop and start playing Pop Goes the Weasel.
But it was Mark Twain that said, "The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time." And I'm not ready to die by any means. I still have some things on my bucket list that I want to do.
Did you know who was ready to die at any time? And that was part of their philosophy, is what Mark Twain just quoted there.
No.
The samurai. The samurai were in their mind already dead. So every time they went into a battle, they had nothing to fear. They did not fear the Reaper because they considered themselves dead already. So it took away their fear, and it actually made them better in combat.
Whoa, that was really, really deep. And I also have a quote. Death is a stripping away of all that is not you. The secret to life is to die before you die and find that there is no death. Are you okay, Tom?
Life is good, strong. I work out, physical training. I work my legs once a week. I do OT, which stretches my arm and so forth. I'm still doing those treatments as well.
A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 21. Welcome, it's Tom Stewart, and I'm joined with my lifelong friend, John Curran, and today we're going to talk about a boot to the ass. We're bringing it back real. I know we've been doing a lot on the 48 Laws of Power, and we'll get back to that. We're going to finish all 48, but right now we want to get to something that's real and real meaningful for me and John, and that's a boot to the ass of getting started and getting shit done. John?
Yeah, absolutely. It is time to take the boot and stick it to the ass. Gosh, I don't think that came out right, but it's time to get going. You know, a lot of us talk about making change, and we talk, do a lot of talking, and then nothing productive or nothing positive comes out of it. I know for myself personally, recently, I just had a birthday, and I was able to take a nice long hike by myself, just me and my dog. So I'm alone with my thoughts and thinking about what I wanted to do in the next year or two. I'm going to turn 50 in 2 years, less than 2 years.
Damn, man, you're old.
And yeah, let's not get off subject here. But you know, I like to think about goals and where I want to be when I'm 50. And really, the top goal that I have is to become more healthy, to become fit. There was a time when I used to work out like a fiend. You know, work out like 6 times a week, and I had big arms, you know, and I had guns and a big chest, and I was looking good. My legs were skinny because I never worked out my legs. That's a whole nother story. But
well, I think we were both in that situation. I mean, I haven't lifted weights in quite a while, at least consistently. I lift here and there very rarely. I do jujitsu, but that just doesn't do what weights can do for your body. And as you get older, you need that resistance training to, strengthen your bones. And the older you get, John, have you noticed your waist gets a little bit bigger and your legs start shrinking? I think from sitting so long,
I just, to be quite blunt, I want to be able to see my dick. When your stomach gets too big, you gotta you gotta look over it. And I just don't want that to happen.
You just want it to look bigger, that's all.
They say it does. They say that when you have a beer gut, it pulls the skin away from there. And
well, hell, man, that should be motivation enough.
It is motivation.
Kicking Ass, episode 4. I'm Tom Stewart, joined with John Curran, my lifelong friend.
How you doing, Tom?
Great. A little hoarse. I was facing, I had some cold and I've been working overtime last couple of weeks, so I had a hard time getting over it, but my voice is finally starting to come back. The sounds a little bit different, but last week I sounded like the Godfather, so it's better now than it was then.
Yeah, you sounded terrible. I felt really bad for you.
It's bad when your own wife calls you and she thought she had the wrong number and hung up.
Did she think it was sexy? That was the question.
Yeah, then I just told her I was Barry White.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're back.
The best. Let me tell you a funny story real quick. I was going through a Pollo Tropical. It's a local Spanish restaurant that serves like chicken and rice and stuff like that. And I was at work, and it was like right when I lost my voice really bad, and I was going through the drive-through, right? And the guy behind me had a diesel truck, and it's going, and I'm trying to order, and I'm going, yeah, I'd like a quarter chicken, white rice, and corn. And the lady's like, and flan? I'm going, no, corn. And flan? No, corn. C-O-R-N, corn. And she's going, and what do you want? And then when the guy finally pulled up to do his order, he shuts his engine off because it was so loud. And I was a little ticked off.
That's funny. Yeah, when I spoke to you last week, you just sounded like you were in pain. I felt bad keeping you on the phone. So glad you're feeling better.
Yeah. I feel all right to sound a little weird.
Well, I think we always sound a little weird. When you talk about living life on your own terms, it does sound weird to a lot of people. It's just not the way people normally think. We all, have been coached to believe that we're supposed to live life by a certain script. And what we're really talking about here is rewriting that script so it meets our own needs better, and it's suited to what we want out of life, not what society wants out of life. So
that's right. It's not such an easy thing to do either, to try to rewire your mind or remap the thinking that has been drilled into you ever since you're a little child. It's very difficult. And that's kind of why we're here. And we're kind of, me and John give each other a swift kick in the ass to kind of keep us ourselves on track to living the life on our own terms and trying to seek freedom, because that's really what it is about, is true freedom.
Yeah, I was getting my hair cut last week.
Yeah, me
and
too.
Sorry, Tom.
I said me too. I have no hair.
But I was talking to my hairstylist about what we're doing, and I asked her how she lived life on her own terms, and that got us into a really good conversation. And she was talking about how she grew up in poverty, and she came from Cambodia, and her parents were on welfare. She lived in a really just terrible living conditions with roaches and not well sealed, and just it was really bad conditions. And she swore she would never live like that again, and she doesn't. She has a husband, 2 wonderful kids. She's a hard worker, and she has control over her life. But she was telling me about some of the people that she went to high school with, and that they had not left that situation at all. And it's interesting how people are brought up differently, and one set of people want to get out of that and use that terrible environment to kind of propel them out of it. And then other people are just comfortable with that way of life. They don't see a way out. They don't necessarily want a way out. They're comfortable with that. They have welfare, so they have food in their refrigerator, and they have a roof over their head, and that's good enough for them.
You know what that reminds me of, John? When we were kids, and I'm sure it's still out there, it's probably a meme now, but when we were kids, there was this cheesy little poster of 3 kittens, and it said, there's 3 kinds of people in the world: people that make things happen, people that watch things happen, and people that wonder what happened.
Yeah, I was thinking of the kitten poster I think you had in your room with a disco ball.
Oh no, that was a panther, not a kitten.
Yeah, that reminds me of. I have a bronze statue that was passed down to me through my father. It was my grandfather's, so it's like it's a World War I era tiger, and I've just loved it ever since I was a little kid. And I remember when my dad gave it to me, I said, thanks so much for the tiger. And he's like, that's no tiger, that's a lioness. And we got into this conversation about why he thought it was a lioness and why I thought it was a tiger. And he was saying, well, you see this tufts of hair on the side, it's definitely a lioness. So he had to go off and go and do something. And my mom, after he leaves, my mom comes into the room and she says, Johnny, you're right, that's a tiger. It's like, really? Why do you say that? She goes, turn him over, he's got doodads. So when my dad came back, I said, Dad, hate to tell you this, but it's not a lioness, it's a tiger. He goes, no, why? I said, turn him over, he's got doodads. And he says, he's a leopard.
So I think it's about time to wrap things up. We're hitting at the 30-minute mark, John.
Okay, that sounds good. I guess we'd like to close with a quote generally. And I'm reminded of this plaque that was in my grandfather's office, and it was an old Native American proverb, although I think it said old Indian proverb, because it was not politically correct or anything. But it said, never judge anyone until you've walked a mile in their moccasins. And we all believe that everyone, no matter their walk of life, they have something to offer, and we can learn from each other. So we hope to learn from you as well. So please, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email or leave us a voicemail on our Swift Kick in the Ass website. Tell us your concerns, and tell us if you don't like what we're doing. We want to improve. if you like what we're doing, tell a friend, turn them on to A Swift Kick in the Ass. And also tell us too, because let's face it, we like to hear.
Yeah, and leave us a review in the iTunes store. That will help us out with the podcast, and share our YouTube video, because we do both. We simulcast on Google Air, so we do this live.
Yep. So until the next time, here's to A Swift Kick in the Ass.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to A Swift Kick in the Ass podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's content, and we ask you to please leave us a review in iTunes. Also, head over to aswiftkickintheass.com to get a free copy of the Simple Spelling Tool.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Don't hit stop yet. This is John. I just wanted to say thanks for sticking around. Not just for the end of this special celebration of our 100th episode, but also for sticking around with us throughout the years. I just really can't tell you how much it means to both Tom and myself, what it means to have fans like yourself, who have continued to come to us episode after episode and joined us on this journey. We have fans throughout the world, and it's just simply amazing. In any case, thank you for joining us on this journey. And Tom and I both look forward to recording many, many more episodes. And we will go as far as we can possibly go. And we hope that you get a lot out of this journey, as much as we're getting out of it. Thank you again for being a listener to A Swift Kick in the Ass podcast. This is John. Until next time, peace.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience and their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's LIBSYN, ads.com today.